Let's get more now from Oklahoma Senator James Lankford, who sits on the Intelligence Committee in the Senate. He joins us from Capitol Hill. Senator, thanks for being here.
Good to be with you, Brett.
Your assessment of this report that came out of your committee today, a lot of write-ups saying that it goes really against the House committee on this very topic.
Yeah, that's interesting spin to say it goes against the House committee. All that we did is we looked at the assessment from the Obama administration that they did in December, literally the final month for the president, that he put out a quick run through of what the intelligence they had at that point. We looked at it and evaluated what they had at that point and said, yes, that's what they had at that point. They evaluated, they looked at the end and said, were the Russians trying to help President Trump? At the very end, yes. The bigger question was not out there. Were they always trying to help the Trump campaign? No, but that's not in the report and it's not being reported on it. The Russians started working on campaign issues in the United States in 2014. They didn't even know the candidates at that point. They had determined they were going to try to find some way to be able to meddle in the campaign. They worked for multiple campaigns throughout the process. So that report looked at just those final months, and yes, were they trying to engage during the final months for Trump? Sure they were. But were they through the whole campaign? No, they were not.
Here is the Senate Minority Leader today about this release of the 2,500 pages of transcripts around that Trump Tower meeting.
Senate Republicans interviewed only 12 witnesses in total. An infamous Kremlin-connected lawyer was allowed to provide only written answers. Our Republican friends decided not to even interview two of the other key participants in that meeting, Jared Kushner, Paul Manafort. To call the Senate Judiciary Committee's Trump-Russia investigation half-hearted is too generous.
Your response?
That is a sad designation of what happened in the Senate Judiciary. He knows full well that's the Senate Judiciary. The Senate Intelligence Committee has also gone through this. I know Democrats are trying to be able to make something of this. This is a rabbit hole for them. They're constantly trying to accuse and say there must be something here that we can stir up, or at least just create an accusation that has the appearance of it. We interviewed everybody that was there. We've gone through all the documents. Everyone's story has been consistent. There was no collusion that was a part of that meeting. That was a deceptive reach out from an individual that they had connected to during one of the pageants. It was a music personality they met with as a personal favor. And when you go through all the interviews, it was obvious there was nothing there. There was no reason to even report it and go through it. And my fear is that Democrats continue to make something out of nothing, that if you look at the facts, including all the testimony today, you'll see there was nothing to that meeting.
Where does this go next? Obviously, we're waiting for the next shoe to drop with the Bob Mueller investigation, but where does this all go next?
So the House Intelligence Committee obviously releases their report. We're releasing the second of our four-part report here in the days ahead, dealing with what's happening in Senate intelligence, what we're trying to be able to get out as well. The Judiciary Committee from the Senate is releasing their reports. We're all wrapping up our reports and trying to get through all the final documents. The hope is that the Mueller investigation is also drawing to a close to be able to finish out their investigation. My fear is, if you go back to Iran-Contra and the investigations that were done by the special counsel and President Reagan, it was 6 years they drugged that out. We want to be able to have them do their work, finish their work, and to be able to get it done.
What about the concern that Russia is going to do it again in the midterms or 2020?
We should be aware that in all likelihood Russia will try something again. This is something that Eastern European countries face every single year. That's something Western European countries have faced multiple times. I would assume the Russians did it once. They're going to try to do it again. People just need to be aware when they see things on social media. That's not always an American that's trying to be able to put out that information on either side of an issue. And Americans frequently are seeing social media and assuming that's a fellow citizen, and it is not.
There obviously are a lot of Democrats, some others that say they're not happy with what they saw from Donald Trump Jr. in the committee. And as this transcript of the interviews are being released, here's Senator Blumenthal on all of that, what he's calling for.
He needs to come back before the committee, testify in person under oath. There is a lot that needs to be explained. The contradictions and evasions are apparent on the record, but even more so when I attended this interview, and I have no confidence that he has told the whole truth right now.
You think he needs to come back?
No, I don't think he needs to come back. He's appeared before House committees. He appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee. He's appeared before the Senate Intelligence Committee. He's done hours and hours and hours of testimony. That testimony has been consistent. They're just digging and hoping they can find something, or leaving an innuendo that maybe there's some secret question that they could ask to be able to find something. The hard part is, after months and months and months of this investigation, they're not finding anything, and that's really their frustration, saying maybe if I bring it back one more time, I will. It's just not there.
And what about the breaking news that Rudy Giuliani has said that Mueller told him he's going to adhere to the Justice Department guidance and there will not be an indictment of the president, period?
Well, that's quite frankly, that's the same thing that Jim Comey told the president a year ago, that the investigation was not about the president. Jim Comey told the president that 3 times in their meetings. That's come out. Both Comey and the president have said that over and over again. So I wouldn't be surprised by that. Obviously, I didn't hear that firsthand to be able to know there's not going to be an indictment, but I wouldn't be surprised by that because that never has been the center of the investigation, nor is the role of the special counsel to go try to get an indictment of the president. His role was very clear, to see if there's any criminal activity among the campaign. The president never has been listed as the source of any of these activities, or that any of those activities even existed ever. He was researching, trying to find out if anything did occur.
Last thing, how long do you think this is going to take before we know a conclusion, one way or another?
Well, in the next few months, the Senate Intelligence Committee will wrap up its work and get all of its public information out there so that everyone can see it in as much possible detail as we can get out in unclassified form. The House Intelligence Committee is already wrapping up its report. We would hope that the special counsel would do the same. Obviously, we don't control the special counsel. They're independent of us, but they've gone through an awful lot of interviews and an awful lot of investigations. When they wrap up and they're able to close that, they should wrap it up rather than just keep searching to hope to find something. And at the end of the day, I think there'll always be some conspiracy theory out there by someone who'll say maybe if we ask one more person one more thing, we would find something. But I think that's Democrats actually with hopeful thinking against a president they politically oppose.
Senator Lankford, we appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.